there, it is Chef Carol from the Sage Garden Project back at the Nutrition Lab at Otay Elementary in Chula Vista. And today we're going to be making the first layer. It's called Stone Soup Layer 1, and it's from our Learning at Home lesson suite. And again, this is based off the book Stone Soup, but we're going to take it so much further. We're going to become chefs. In fact, from now on, whenever I talk to you, I'm going to be calling you a young chef. And the only other ingredient that I don't have here is probably the most important ingredient that you're going to need for all of the lessons. And that is not something that you eat. It's something that you could hug. It's your sous chef. So sous is a French word meaning under. That means that your sous chef is going to be your assistant. Now, it's very, very important that before you start any of the layered soup lessons that you have your sous chef, which is going to be the person at home who's taking care of you. And whenever you speak to your sous chef, make sure that all your words are coming from your heart. It's really important that you talk to your sous chef with respect and kindness. So we are all ready to go. First, let's take a look at my setup. Do I have my mise en place ready? Remember, mise en place are all of my ingredients and all of my tools. So for layer 1, I need a cooktop, a pot with a lid, we also call this a saucepan. I have a spoon. I have my stone. And again, the stone has been cleaned with just warm water, not soap, because we don't want the soap getting into the little pores. Isn't that a beautiful stone? It's got this stripe on it. I have my water. I have my pepper, I have my salt, I have my 1 cup measuring cup, which again, if you don't have a cup that says 1 cup on it, you can use anything about the same size. We'll talk more about that as we get into the lessons. And I have everything I need ready to start. So here we go. I'm going to take off my lid, and you also can take a look at our recipe right here. So the first thing I need to add is 3 cups of water. So I'm going to take my 1 cup measuring cup, I'm going to take my water, and I'm going to hold it right over my pot. My pot is not on yet. I do not put the heat on until I'm ready. And this way, if I measure over here, I could spill. But if I do it right over the pot, if a little bit of extra water gets in, that's okay. So let's count. I've got 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to move my tools and my ingredients out of the way. Next thing I'm going to need is a pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper. So if you remember, if you take your thumb and your forefinger, it's like pinching your nose, that's what a pinch is. So let's take my salt. Now I'm going to show you a little trick. I'm not going to put my salt over my water, because if it accidentally spills, I will have too much salt. So I'm going to take my pinch over here. Voila! I'm going to take my pepper, the same thing, I'm going to measure over here, and a little pinch of pepper. And the very last thing that I need to add is 1 very clean, large stone, about the size of your fist. So let's check out. Is this about the size of my fist? It's a little small, but it's probably about the size of your fist. Now, I am not going to drop it in there and make a splash. I don't have the heat on. I'm going to very gently place it in the water. And the reason I don't want to drop it is I don't want to scrape the bottom of my beautiful pot. So make sure my fingers are dry. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my power, and I'm going to bring it to a boil. So a boil is when you have very large bubbles on the surface. If we look at the surface of the water right now, there are no bubbles at all. But when the heat rises to 212 degrees, you're going to see lots of bubbles at the top. Just before the water boils, you're going to see vapor coming up, and that vapor is steam, and it is hot. So it's very, very careful that if you have your lid on, you're going to ask your sous chef to help you open the lid this way, away from you, so that the steam doesn't come to your face. So we're going to put this on for a boil. And once it gets to 212 degrees, you're going to see large bubbles. When we start lesson 2, we are going to start with the water boiling. And I'm pretty sure, young chefs, that is everything that we need for layer 1, except for one thing. So I'm going to take the lid off for a second, and I want you just to think. You're going to do a think, pair, share all by yourself. I'm going to think, I wonder if this is going to taste good. I wonder if the stone has any flavor. The only flavors, which we are going to call from now on flavor profile, the flavors are the stone, the salt, the pepper, and actually the water. That's another thing you can do with think, pair, share with. Does all water taste the same? So that is it for layer 1 of our stone soup, and I'll see you back for lesson 2 of our stone soup. Goodbye.